Vegas, Max Crosby signed the most lucrative non-QB contract, 3 years for $106 million, $91 million of it guaranteed. Raiders still looking for a quarterback, and Crosby has his eye on Aaron Rodgers. Take a listen to his podcast.
I think with all the doubt and all the negativity around Aaron Rodgers, he needs to retire, things like that, he's getting cut by the Jets. I think he's going to come back and have I know he's 42 or 41.
Are you going to say MVP?
No, I think he's going to have a big year this year, and I hope it's in our town.
Okay, so that you can react to either thing, his new contract or the fact that he wants Aaron Rodgers.
Or that he has a painting of the single highlight of his whole football career behind him, sacking Patrick Mahomes. I like Max Crosby. It is the highlight of his whole career, but I do also really like Max Crosby. So the money thing is very simple. This is why we said, Micah, Jamar, get it done, because now there's a new high watermark. Now it's $35.5 million, right? 106.5 divided by 3, 35.5 million is the new high watermark for non-quarterbacks. So now you got that to jump over. As far as Aaron in Vegas, I do not think any team should sign Aaron Rodgers until after the draft. There is not because I think there is so much uncertainty about what quarterback. It seems like a very safe bet that Cam Ward is not getting out of the top 3. Everything else seems like really depends on who you ask, what day it is, all of it. So I would not, if I were any team that wants a quarterback, prioritize Aaron so much that I feel like it kind of ties my hands a bit come draft day if a guy starts falling that I didn't think was going to be available. So no, the Raiders have the 7th pick of the draft. Or the 6th pick of the draft? I don't remember.
6th, I think.
6th pick of the draft, pardon me. No, of course they shouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers when likely they're going to be able to get the 2nd quarterback of the draft there, whomever that is.
Look, with the quarterback play that they've had recently, I get where Max Crosby's coming from, but no, I don't like Aaron Rodgers there at all. Rodgers is not lifting a bad team to greatness. I know, and while Pete Carroll will have a good culture, it's still, right now, there's no culture there. And then you put Aaron Rodgers into that, so he could maybe establish his own culture, which I don't think you want. I said it before, I say it again. There's one place for him, Pittsburgh. That's where he should go. And that's who should want him, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think you make a good point. Like if the Steelers could draft Shedeur at, 21 or wherever it is, but still, maybe you even want a Rodgers still as a veteran to help Shedeur along in his rookie year. But I think that's where Rodgers should go. I don't like him. I actually like Russell Wilson better with the Raiders just because of Pete, and all that, than Rodgers.
Well, and because Russell Wilson was probably better than Aaron last year. Certainly a better leader.
I think Russ wanted to go to Vegas. Remember when we were first kicking this all around?
Yes, back when Brandon was on the show 5 years ago.
Well, I don't know if Russ and Pete really like each other. I mean, that kind of didn't end great.
Maybe they
reconcile.
Maybe
publicly at least.
Maybe they'll get back together. And the problem with not having a quarterback going into the draft is then it's like shopping hungry. Now you're thinking, okay, we got to fill this void. So at least if you filled the void with someone that can be viable through the season, that you think you can win with, and maybe that's Aaron for Las Vegas. I don't know if it is or not. Then you go into the draft, and if there's a guy you like or somebody you have more flexibility. So that's why you do it prior to it. I don't like them there either. They gave up 50 sacks last year, which was 5th in the league. They were 32nd in running the ball. So this is a worse situation than what New York was. Now you're going into a division where 3 out of the 4 teams made the playoffs, highly competitive division. So there's that downside. They have enough money to do it. They've got flexibility from that standpoint. He would be with Brock Bowers, which he should have been with at the Jets last year. I don't know if you guys are talking about that. Probably would have helped him. And ironically, Devontae Adams will still have a presence on the team with his $15 million in dead money from him getting cut. So that's positive too. But it's just I like Max Crosby. I love his enthusiasm. He's always so positive. I don't know if I see it as optimistically as he does that fit in Las Vegas.
Okay, so let's turn our attention to Devontae. I have a wonderful question for you, Coach. Aaron's former two-time teammate. Davante looking for a new team after being released by the Jets. The favorite, a homecoming to the Packers, following Rams, then a three-way tie with Broncos, Steelers, Patriots, and then the Chiefs coming in at 8th. Brew, you're our resident Packers fan, although you haven't made your 2025 predictions just yet. Yeah. Do you want to see J-Lo with Davante?
Well, I wouldn't mind it. He's not a great receiver anymore, but he's been great, and I think he's still very good. Right now, they've got a group of good receivers. Can any of them be great? Who knows? But Davante knows what it takes to be great, and I think he could help, maybe tutor, mentor those guys while still being productive himself. So I like that. But you know what? With DK Metcalf available now, I kind of like that even better if I'm Green Bay. I like Metcalf.
Well, there's not the connection. There's not the history.
Yeah, but but Rodgers is gone. It's not like he's not there. But I don't hate Davante there. If they end up with Davante Adams, I'll be fine with that. But I'd probably rather get DK Metcalf.
Do you like Jordan Love? Because you tagging him with the J-Lo moniker makes me feel like you hate him.
No, I love J-Lo.
The fact that it's gained some momentum here is rough. Here's where I struggle with this is they had 4 receivers last year, 3 receivers and a tight end who got 70 targets. So it was egalitarian. Everybody had an opportunity, and they're all young and they're all growing together. So now you bring in a guy like Davante. If he's a great mentor, if he's a positive force, if he's all those things in the room, that could be a really good thing because he can help nurture those guys along. But I don't know if he is or not. I don't have that familiarity with him. If he's a guy that comes in who's used to getting well over 100 targets, and now he wants all the targets, and now he puts the pressure on a young J-Lo, impressionable J-Lo, to throw him the ball, and all of that pressure that you put on a defense because you're willing to go to anybody, now you're pushing the ball to one guy because if he doesn't get it, he's not happy about it. I think that could be detrimental, and he has a different cachet than all those other guys.
Yeah.
So if he is a negative guy, that can really affect the dynamic of that room.
Yeah, I know it's going to sound weird. I don't really look at receiver as a mentor position. I think receivers want theirs almost at all times. And I think that is partly what makes guys great, is that I think it's kind of more long-winded than we have time for here. Because it's such a dependent position, you can be the best receiver in the world, and if you have terrible quarterback play or you can't show it, that it generates, or it creates, if there wasn't already there, kind of a needed selfishness that then when you do become awesome manifests itself in what I think we're seeing right now with A.J. Brown, which is, I think it's on the board, A.J. Brown is traded this offseason.
Hello.
Oh,
you read any reports?
I'm sure the Patriots would love him. And by the way, I think that's a good example, and I'll try to land the plane back with that, Davante. I don't think A.J. Brown would be sad about that. I think if A.J. Brown's like, so I'm going from the Super Bowl champion to maybe the worst team in the league, but I am going to get 150 targets, and we have a traditional ring. Right, I got my ring. And so I think if Davante were watching, he would have taken issue with one thing significantly. Bruce saying he's not great anymore. I think he still thinks he is great.
I think he is. You think he is great?
I think he thinks he's still great. I agree with you. I think he's good to very good. I don't think he's even in the argument for top 5 receiver, where he lived for a long time. But they were 2-4 when he signed with the Jets, and he and Rodgers threw a little Zoom party on McAfee, coming to save the day. Here's what I was surprised that wasn't in the odds, nor in Brew's answer. It feels to me, unless